What's going on, everybody? Steve here. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how much money you should start with if you're going to be doing eBay to Amazon flipping. Maybe right now you're buying from thrift stores, or maybe maybe you're doing a mix of things. You're going to thrift stores, library sales, doing some local pickups. You're an opportunist. Anytime you come across an opportunity, you pass a pawn shop, you go in. You pass a consignment store, you go in, right? You're on Facebook and you can't help yourself, right? You are going into Facebook Marketplace and seeing if there's anybody maybe selling textbooks or, who knows, whatever. It could be a brother printer. There's so many different items that you can literally sell, right? But I want to talk about how much money you should start with if, again, you're doing the thrifting, consignment stores, pawn shops, estate sales, library sales, all that. But you're looking to get into more of a scalable business model like eBay to Amazon flipping. This also pertains to maybe you want to do Amazon to Amazon flipping or wholesale or traditional online arbitrage, which honestly, I don't really recommend doing those two just because the margins are so low, the price tanking is crazy, you've got to invest so much freaking capital, especially wholesale. I mean, I've promoted wholesale in the past and I've kind of stopped promoting it just because the failure rate is so high. Not that it doesn't work, not that it's not a good business model, not that it's not safer, right? People say it's safer, right? Because you have invoices, it's safer to do wholesale. Yeah, it might be safe because you have an invoice, but is it safe when you go $40,000 deep on a specific product and then Amazon deletes the listing? Same with traditional online arbitrage. Is it safe when you've got those nice cozy invoices, but then all of a sudden Nike gates you and you're completely screwed, right? I feel like eBay to Amazon and Amazon to Amazon is a little bit safer and more, I'm just going to say it's more safe just because we understand the model because we're coming from the thrifting world, library sales, thrift stores. We don't have to go super deep. We don't have to spend $10, $20, $30, $50,000. We don't have to build all these crazy relationships or, spend all this money but whatever. That's another conversation. How much money should you start with if you're going to do E to A or A to A? That's what I really want to talk about. And my honest thoughts on this is you should start with as little as possible, right? And I made a video about this before that might have come out already, but I guess I'll just rehash it. When you're getting into a new model like eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon and you don't have experience with it, you want to make mistakes on a budget and you still have to pay your bills. So why would you stop thrifting? Why would you stop going to garage sales, estate sales, pawn shops, all the things that you've been doing to make money? You obviously still have to pay the bills. So what I would recommend doing is planting a little eBay to Amazon seed, a little Amazon to Amazon seed on the side, taking care of it, nurturing it, and seeing if it grows, see if it's something that you like, see if it's something you enjoy. So what this looks like in the real world is, okay, you're spending 40 hours, we'll just say 20 hours. Maybe you're a part-time reseller. You're spending 20 hours per week on your thrifting business. I'm just going to call it thrifting from now on. That'll, encapsulate all the other models. I'm just calling it thrifting. So say you're thrifting 20 hours per week. What you can do is either A, continue to spend 20 hours per week and add maybe 2 hours per week extra to start learning about eBay to Amazon, right? Start watching my videos. Maybe the first couple of weeks, it's all education because you got to learn how eBay to Amazon works or Amazon to Amazon flips, whatever you decide. So you got to watch my videos. You got to watch my friend Joji Davenport, his videos about Amazon to Amazon flipping, whatever resonates with you. I do eBay to Amazon. I'm actually at the point now where I used to feel like I was trying to convince people to do eBay to Amazon, but I'm not anymore. I don't care what you do. If you want to do eBay to Amazon, do it. If you want to do Amazon to Amazon, do it. If you want to go do wholesale, do it. I can only share what I'm personally doing myself. But the first couple of weeks, educate yourself. You could watch free videos. You could join my free eBay to Amazon Masterclass Facebook group, right? You could join my eBay to Amazon Masterclass, which is, I think it's $247, right? And if you don't have the money to invest in that, just watch the free videos. Go into the Facebook group. But if you want 100 videos step by step that breaks you through it all and walks you through every step, then invest in it. If you feel like you're actually going to take action, if you're not going to go through the course, if you know that you buy courses and don't take action and you're a dabbler, right? And you just dabble with a little of this and it doesn't work and you move to the next thing and you move to the next thing, don't buy a course. Honestly, just go on YouTube and just go that route. Save your money, right? Save your money for the products and hopefully you sell a couple of products soon enough before your motivation fizzles out, which happens to a lot of people now. I was just talking to a friend about this. While Amazon's getting harder with all the rules and updates, for the people who are fighters and who are the type of person who you could commit to something and you don't give up and you don't quit and you adapt, Amazon's actually getting easier because people are just falling off like flies. I'm telling you, Amazon sellers are just disappearing because in 2025, the new world is how can I make as much money as possible by risking the least amount of money, by putting in the least amount of effort and adding the least amount of value. It's disgusting nowadays that it's just, I talk to people, I see people They don't even understand that the way you make money is by adding value. But I digress, okay? I'm not gonna open up that can of worms right now. But how much money should you spend, right, after you've done a couple weeks of research? I would spend as little as possible. So say you're spending, we'll just call it $500 a month thrifting, right? Maybe just spend $50 per month with eBay to Amazon if you really want to go slow. Maybe buy 1 or 2 items in 1 month, right? And then maybe the next month you buy 5 items, and then the next you buy 10, and then 20, and then 30, right? You spend $50 a month. And I'm going on the low extreme for someone who's like super duper scared and skeptical and doesn't know if it's going to work. But the funny thing is, it's like, if you're going to thrift stores and you're flipping board games and DVDs and books, there is no freaking difference between going to a thrift store versus buying on eBay. Well, let me correct myself. There are differences, right? But there's no differences in terms of the products. You're flipping the same exact products. That's how I got into eBay to Amazon. What did I do? I literally just went into my Amazon orders. I started looking at all the board games and DVDs that I was flipping. Yes, I would buy them for $5 for a board game and flip it for 40 from a thrift store to Amazon. So now I would have to spend maybe 15 or 20 to flip it for 40. So yes, the margins are lower, but I save time because I'm not having to drive all around the state of Connecticut to find this stuff. I have this stuff come to me, so I'm having my capital work for me. It's a different mindset shift, right? So there are differences, right? You spend more money, but the products are the same. And that's what I recommend. If you're going to get into eBay to Amazon, start small. But there's no need to be as scared as you think, because you're dealing with the same products. The only difference is your margins are less, and, you know, maybe your profit is less and you're spending more money. But again, you're switching your mindset up from, okay, how can I be a worker bee and just work my butt off physically all day long, hunting down deals and going to the consignment store and the pawn shop and the thrift store. You're just a worker bee. You're working a job, and there's nothing wrong with it, because it's way better than working a real job where you're behind a desk, right? I thrifted for 6 years and I loved it, and I think it's really great, and I have nothing against anyone who thrifts. But if you want to make more money and scale your business, and you want more time freedom, which is very important for me. I don't want to just collect, pieces of paper with dead presidents, right? I want the money to be able to use it as a resource to take care of my family, to travel, to not have to worry about making money, right? One of the reasons I want to make money, so I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about paying my mortgage, right? I don't have to worry about consistently, just feeling broke and not having enough money. And I remember what it was like when I couldn't pay my bills, and I digress. I digress. But start slowly, right? But you've got to plant that seed. Your future self will thank you so much. If in your heart you want to make more money and scale and have more freedom, your future self is saying, John, Heather, Craig, whatever your name is, right? Sarah, please, invest 2 hours per week, Sarah, please, in learning this new model, whether it's eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon, or maybe you're like, screw all this, I'm doing TikTok shop, or I'm doing Amazon influencer, right? Your future self is begging you, if you're not happy with your situation right now, it's begging you, please invest in learning something, invest in taking action, plant the seed. Buy 1 item from eBay to flip on Amazon using the Replay Catcher tool, or buy 1 book off of Keepa deals, or set up Keepa alerts. Again, I'm not here to convince you what to do, but your future self is begging you. And the reality is, your life is never going to change if you don't start investing now in your future. So how much money should you spend? As little as you possibly can, or as much as you're comfortable. The difference is, another difference to keep in mind, when I transitioned from thrifting to eBay to Amazon, I thought I knew what I was doing, okay? Because, let me put it this way. When I was out thrifting and I was scanning barcodes and I was buying stuff from thrift stores, pawn shops, library sales, my cost of goods was very low. You know what I mean? Like, you're buying a book for $1 or $2, or maybe you're paying $5.99 or $6.99 for a board game, or even $9.99 at Savers, but you're selling it for $40 or $50. Your margins are so high. Your ROI is so high. Yes, I know, and I was one of those people who was always complaining about the thrift store and the prices and whatnot, but the reason I think prices should be lower at the thrift store is because people are only shopping within a 5-mile radius. It's all supply and demand. Items are going to go for a lot more on eBay and Amazon because it's not a 5-mile radius. It's a freaking 5,000-mile radius, right? The whole country can purchase off of eBay or Amazon, so there's more demand, which makes the price go up. So that makes sense. Anyways, I lost my train of thought, but you should literally just spend as little as you possibly can in the beginning until you start seeing sales and having success. Because when I first started, it was hard for me to be able to only make 50, 60, 70% ROI when I was used to making 200, 500, 1,000% ROI at the thrift store. But again, you're getting your money to work for you. Whereas when you go into thrift stores, you're spending all your time and spending all your effort. Yes, you're spending way less in terms of the cost of goods, but you're still paying the price. What do I mean by that? You're paying the price with time, okay? So the whole goal of eBay to Amazon is to buy back your time. Because think about it. How do you make money on Amazon? You make money by providing value to the market. How do you provide value to the market? You sell products to the market. How do you make profit? Well, you have to make sure you get really good deals. Or if the deals aren't as good as like thrift stores, you have to do more and more volume. In my business, I flip high ticket products. So my average selling price is $100 per flip. And my average profit is about $30 per flip for the last 12 months. It's been increasing every single year. Now, you don't have to start off by paying $50 and flipping items for $100 or $125. You could start off by buying items on eBay or Amazon for $7, $8, $9, $10 and flipping it for $35 or $40 or $45. But at the end of the day, the whole goal of this is to buy back your time. I wouldn't recommend starting eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon flips and just all of a sudden abandoning your old model and going 100% into the new model, because you're going to make mistakes. Oh yeah, I remember what I was saying before. I thought I understood how to analyze deals, but I actually didn't understand how to analyze them as much as I thought, because when I'm at the thrift store scanning, only paying $1 or $2, if I make a mistake, it doesn't really hurt. But when I spend $30 on a board game to flip it for 60 and it only sells for 35 because I didn't read the Keepa chart correctly, it really, really affects me. So you have to build your skills. So really the roadmap here is spend a couple weeks learning, get into the free Facebook groups, whether it's my group or someone else's group. Start small, start flipping a couple of items. I would focus on your replens, focus on items that you've sold before in the past because you're confident you've sold them. You know you're not going to have account health issues because you've sold them before. You're familiar with the brand, you're familiar with the product, you're familiar with the condition that you're flipping. And matter of fact, in my business, I flip all new. Just not books. I don't sell books as new, but I sell all new just because I have a prep center and it's a lot easier for me. But you can flip used, you can flip new, but start small. And as you start to flip more and more items, you're going to gain more and more confidence. And I'm telling you, there are tons of opportunities out there. So just start small, start flipping, gain your confidence, and go from spending 50 to 100 to 300 to 500. And then eventually you can stop spending 20 hours per week in your thrifting business, as in this example. And maybe then you spend 15 hours thrifting and 5 hours with E to A. And then maybe it's 10 and 10, and then maybe it's 5 and 15, and then maybe you fully transition over to E to A, and now you got your capital working for you, and you just go to thrift stores for fun. You go to thrift stores because you've got nothing else to do. Like in my business now, I'm working 1 to 2 hours per week, so like I'll go to thrift stores and pawn shops just for fun because I enjoy it, and you know, it's fun to go hang out with my mom and whatnot, and we love thrifting. And obviously it's still really good money, but the lifeblood of our Amazon business is quality inventory consistently. And that's why I love eBay, because it's a 24/7 thrift store that never closes. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. But I appreciate you guys. Much love. Smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one.